You know what I thought I'd talk about is the different trellising options you have. You know, we hear about the Florida weave, and you got the cage, and you see the string where they run it up the string. And I'm gonna tell you, after doing it for a couple years, each thing has its purpose, okay? I think the Florida weave's cool. Nothing bad to say about it, okay? My only issue, the reason I don't mess with it, is because then I've got to put a pole up, an extra pole on each end, and run extra string across, back and forth. And I don't feel like messing with all that. You know what I mean? I put the cage down, the stuff grows up out of the cage to the best of its ability. It usually goes over and falls over, and some of the limbs break, and that's just part of the deal. But what I have done for the first time this year is run a piece of twine from the ground up. Okay, so here you see my little blueberry tomato. I saw a lot of people, they would put a stake right here in the ground, and they would tie this string to it. You know what? I didn't even mess with that. I let my tomatoes get up a foot or two, and it was tall enough at that point that the string, which if we follow it up here, you can watch it go. Let's see. The string goes up here, okay? I've got it tied up here, and that was enough. Just that string hanging from there. I use these little handy dandy fancy tomato clips that I got on Amazon, and I learned about this through a lot of the people you all probably watch all the time, okay? Really big gardening channels that I've learned a lot from as well, okay? But those little clips, about every foot or so, and then after a while I got to where I was just kind of winding the string or the tomato around the string as it went up. And this thing right now, I can tell you, this greenhouse cost me $250 on Amazon. It's a 20 by 10, and it was 7 foot tall. Except for, I built this, it's approximately 3 feet, okay? This little frame around it. Another nice video. I'll try to look it up, the guy that showed me how to do it. But he built this little frame, and he set the greenhouse on top of it, and it makes it so much more convenient to walk in, and there's so much more room. And I just thought it was an excellent idea, and it was worth the little extra money. So I spent some money on lumber, and I dug some post holes, and I got it there. Now, so this went from being 7 foot. I am a 6 foot tall guy, right about 6 foot. And I'm telling you, that's about 8 foot. That's like an 8 foot ceiling in your house. And these plants are there now, okay? And you say, what do you do when you get there? Because like I've told y'all in the past, I have aggressively pruned all the way up. You notice now there's some suckers and stuff coming up down at the bottom. I'm allowing it because we're at 112 degrees every day. And in case this big guy dies, I've even let the suckers go. In case this big guy dies, then I have something down here to work with, okay? But for now, I've got to the top of my greenhouse. That is why, I don't know if I can show it to you or not. Can you guys see this string? It is running across. Okay, I got another little tile right there. Goes all the way across the other side of my greenhouse. So it has taken approximately, I'm gonna say about 4.5, 5 months for this guy to get that tall. If it can make it through this hot killer summer, I'm thinking by the time the fall gets here, it could be as far as over to here. I do not know. But I'm gonna just keep it going using those nice handy dandy little clips that I bought off of Amazon. And I can't remember, I think they're called string clips or something. If you look it up, I'm certain you will find it. Actually, one-handed, nothing is easy. So here's a brand new one, okay? And now I will say, don't leave them out in the sun. They've been sitting out here in the sun with me, and I've had several break, just kind of like that right there. The plastic, it's cheap plastic, so it happens. But you see what this thing's made out of, okay? But right back in here, you can see those little barbs. They help hold the string right here, okay? And then you grab a hold of the string with that, and this wide open circle goes around the tomato stem, and it clicks. Okay, that holds it in place. When the time comes, and for any reason you want to take it off, take it loose, you just pull this down and push it out. Now, it's hard to do one-handed, but I'm just telling you, these were a good investment. I highly suggest, if you are going to try this method, and I believe it would work with the Florida weave as well, which is just a bunch of lines that go horizontally across. Every so far, let's say a foot, foot and a half, about the time your plants are getting tall enough they're about to break over, you want to clip them back to a line. So, but that's 1, 2, 3. You know, I said I'm at 8 foot. So that, let's say that's 8 strings. Let's say we half that, and that's 4 pieces of string that are 20 foot long. Okay, that's a lot of string to me, right? And that's a lot of pain in the butt running it back and forth. And I ran one single string up. And so I think that's just the better way to go. It's been really easy. And then just now, about 2 days ago, I ran this string across the top for my tallest ones, because they're getting to that point where something's fixing to have to happen. I'm just gonna run them all the way across my greenhouse, and I'll have tomatoes hanging from the roof. And since I have so heavily pruned, you will also notice this guy. And this is pole beans. This is Kentucky pole beans. That particular one there's got a little crack in it, so we'll see how that goes. But on some of them, actually on all of them, I put some of those Kentucky pole beans and just let the same drip irrigation system water those guys. And I'm gonna let them grow up, these big empty stalks that look silly. I'm very blessed. I thank God for giving me such a good harvest. But I mean, I am not hurting. And all this stuff in here is pretty much indeterminate varieties. Okay? And they're just pumping it to me. I'm cutting them loose right now, and I'm letting them get a little hairy because it's just too hot. And I want to make sure they get enough of what they need. And everything's going to be cool. I broke this guy off. Look at this. I broke him off right here on accident, trying to weave it around my line like I was telling you about. And I thought, oh no, man, it can be the end right here. Now I want to show you something. Let me get this guy out of the way. Can you guys see this little limb right here? That right there is a sucker. And I'm gonna cut that sucker loose right here. He's gonna keep going. I'm gonna let him grow. He's gonna grow straight on up, and I'm gonna hook him up there to this line that I have, and I'm gonna run him all the way across like the rest of them. Let me show you over here. Here are my cages. I have no problem with them. It's hard to tell there's a tomato in there anymore after the hail got through with them, but I can tell you they easily got to the top of this by the end of May. They were already hanging out the ends and over the top. So at least you would want a 6 foot tall cage. You know, the cages are good too. They serve their purpose. I'll tell you where I found the most benefit of using a cage is squash. These guys got killed by the hail too, so it looks like crap right now, guys. Don't judge me too much. And in your judgment, recognize that even through all of it, after pruning this vine, there is squash still trying to come. But these little cages, these particular ones aren't quite 3 foot tall, almost. But I mean, squash growing vertical is the way to go. If you've ever done it on the ground, they just cover so much ground and smother out anything around it. I suggest cages as a good option to growing vertically on your squash and your zucchini, because these two guys, both of which are producing again, even though they've been through hell. Okay, this cage is so nice at keeping this stuff kind of all in one place, and your vegetables are not on the ground. They're up higher where you can get a hold of them. It's just been a blessing. I'm all about the cages for this. But for tomatoes, while Florida weave and cages serve their purpose, I'm all about that string going up. Even if you don't single stem your tomatoes, you can use that same string to tie whatever stems you have. it works pretty well. So at least down here where I am, that's what I found to be the most beneficial. So hope I helped you guys, and come back and see me, and I'll talk to y'all later.